Basically, Narendra Modi has put out what Manmohan Singh did not for 10 years before him. Manmohan Singh always used to put a line of difference between the well-meaning people in Pakistan and the Pakistani state and the deep state. Narendra Modi says very clearly here today that Pakistan does not have the strength to fight a conventional war, which is why it wants to continue a proxy war. And on the debate, we have this debate in two parts tonight. From Pakistan, General Rashid Qureshi, former spokesperson to Musharraf, and Sadia Khan is leader of the PMLN. Sadia Khan ji and General Qureshi, welcome. And from Delhi, General Bakshi, editor of the Indian Military Review, Maruf Raza, strategic affairs analyst, and Pawan Verma, former diplomat and member of the Rajya Sabha. Thank you very much for joining us. General Bakshi, let me start with you. Are you surprised that Modi said this as clearly as he did today?
Absolutely not, Arnab. I think he has made an absolute statement of fact. Pakistan has initiated 4 wars to grab Jammu and Kashmir by force. 1947-48, Operation Gulmarg. 1965, Operation Gibraltar. 1971, and then the Kargil intrusions in 1999.
Right.
In 1971, Pakistan was broken into 2, and in 1999, it had to eat humble pie. It had to withdraw from every inch. And then they have hit upon this very ingenious answer, of starting a proxy war against India, which is low cost, no cost. That is the problem. So far, we haven't raised costs for Pakistan enough. What Pakistan does not realize, and we have our Pakistani interlocutors here, facing us, what Pakistan does not realize is that its constant use of non-state actors is destabilizing the state of Pakistan. No Westphalian nation state can afford to have armed non-state actors floating around in the numbers that they are in Pakistan. And therefore, if Pakistan does not watch its step, I'm afraid the first entity it is going to harm is itself. We are required now to put this message across clearly to Pakistan. Your proxy war cannot be low cost and absolutely will not be no cost. It absolutely will not be no cost. The Indian electorate has given a decisive mandate to Mr. Modi because they were fed up with the pusillanimity of the last regime.
Right.
They wanted action. They are looking forward to action.
General Qureshi, I think I have you on the line now. And Sadia Khan, welcome. I think the audio line is through. General Bakshi, in his opening comments, strongly supports Narendra Modi's statement today and says, yes, Narendra Modi is absolutely right. Pakistan has lost the basic strength to fight a conventional war. And he also says that Pakistan must realize that its proxy war cannot be low cost and will certainly not be no cost. So Modi has really rubbed it in, hasn't he, General Qureshi? He's rubbed in the fact that you don't have the strength to fight a conventional war, which is why you choose the terror route. He isn't giving you the leg room, General Qureshi, that Manmohan Singh gave you all along. He's taken that away. I'm sure you've noted his comment, and I'd like your response to him and to General Bakshi's opening remarks.
Anab, I think for Narendra Modi to start off on a note that he has, and I'm very sorry to hear what General Bakshi has just commented on, which is accusing and taking a decision, a conviction of, without hearing any argument from the Pakistani side. One, I don't want to argue with you that Pakistan can or cannot fight a conventional war, so therefore it is
No, but there's a fact there,
resorted
isn't
to
it?
a
I mean, you have.
system.
There's a fact there.
No,
You know,
no,
isn't
hold on,
it,
hold
General
on.
Qureshi? You have
You see-
diverted
you
your
see,
attention
we
because
will-
of your
if-
conflict on your
no,
western
hold
border.
on.
You have an
Hold
internal
on.
crisis in Pakistan. You are absorbed in your internal security issues. Your government openly acknowledges that Pakistan faces an existential threat to its integrity and sovereignty as a result of the terror industry in the country. A fact reported by your media and not a creation by us. I mean, the fact that Pakistan is a
Regardless,
walking, talking disaster today is something that
Regardless,
you
Arnav,
yourself acknowledge.
if-
What has Modi said?
Listen,
Modi has only
if you asked us,
emphasized
you know,
that.
you have an issue, you have a problem, you come up with a question and then you start answering it yourself. Once you've called us here to contribute, if you want to listen, that is, I think people in India must also listen to our point of view. Now, talking about Pakistan not having the conventional capability to fight a war is your assessment, frankly. I have a different opinion. However, we are not talking about war.
No, that's
We
just
are
a
not
point
talking
he
about
made there.
Pakistan and India going to war. We are trying, and I think the government, not just this government, but perhaps even the previous government, has tried its best to come to a situation where there is talks, constructive talks, positive talks, talks that will achieve results between India and Pakistan, and there is no doubt in my mind.
Sir, you cannot-
may have a difference of opinion
No,
here.
what has Modi
that the
said?
people of India and
What-
the people of Pakistan want peace.
No, what has
Now,
Modi said?
There is
Sir,
no
there
doubt
are-
about it. The
Sir,
government says
sir,
that.
Sir,
I
General
and my
Qureshi-
independent assessment say that.
General
Yeah.
Qureshi, I feel today that as a former army man, you have been hurt. You have become a little touchy about what Modi has said, especially when Modi says that
No.
Pakistan as a country has lost the strength to fight a conventional war. And I don't personally want to argue with you on that, though I know, General Qureshi,
Right.
you know that our active forces of India are double that of yours. We have about 900 more
Yes.
battle tanks than yours. We have double the amount of tactical submarines which you have. So even in military terms, Maruf can counter you on that. Pakistan has no capacity to fight a conventional war with India. But on top of that also, your financial health, sir, Mr. Qureshi, and Sadia Khan, your financial health, your losses due to terror attacks. You know, these are certain facts. What is wrong if Modi is putting it on the table?
Excuse me, very unfortunate statement by Indian Prime Minister Mr. Modi. And I don't know background of this statement given by him on this occasion. When Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has accepted his ceremonial invitation, he came forward. We were moving forward. We have shaked hand with them. We have not given any statement. We have not tagged past with India in his previous visit. And we were expecting that Prime Minister Modi, as per his statement, previous statement before oath and after oath, that we will be going forward for
Yes.
negotiations on diplomat level. But unfortunately, one thing, there are two things matters. One thing, I don't know the background, like if Prime Minister of Pakistan has visited India, it doesn't mean Pakistan is not capable of anything.
No,
And Mr.
but
Modi
you
is
know,
falling in conclusion.
Miss
No,
Sadia
Mr.
Khan,
Modi
why
is
are you-
falling in conclusion
Why
very
are you
quickly.
responding
Why he is
negatively to
talking
what
about
Modi has
war?
said?
Why he is talking about war? In any case, either on border, either conventional. You can't judge capacity of any country.
No,
either
because
it's
you are-
India,
no,
either it's
no,
Pakistan.
because- no, what-
Pakistan and India
because-
are sharing 3,200-kilometer border with each other.
Miss Khan.
In case of any calamity, any disaster,
Miss Khan.
any terrorism, any
Miss Khan, let
insurgency,
me ask
both
you.
countries will have to suffer.
Miss Sadia
Both
Khan,
countries are very important.
No,
in
Miss
region.
Khan, let me
Both
ask
are,
you.
Atomic parts.
Miss Khan, let me ask. This is not a daring strategy. You know, nobody wants a war, and I know that it must hurt Pakistan when the Prime Minister of India tells you on your face that you have no capacity to fight a conventional war with India. Manmohan Singh didn't say that. Modi has said that to you today. But let's leave that aside.
No, you started
Miss
from
Khan, my
one
question
thing,
to you
started
is.
from past.
Miss Khan, my question to you is.
Present.
Miss Khan, my question to you is. Why didn't you feel hurt when your own president admitted that you are a terrorist country? Your own Pakistani president Zardari admitted that we use terrorist group to achieve our foreign policy goals.
we are victim of terror
No, but-
since decades.
no, but
we
why-
have suffered from
Do you
insurgency.
disagree?
Pakistani nation, they are very
Ms.
brave
Khan-
nation. They are facing all these
No, no.
issues and problems
Mi-
since
Ms.
decades,
Khan-
but still they are standing.
Ms. Khan-
No. You can't judge our capacity like
Ms. Khan,
this.
we are not
either
judging
sitting
your
on media or
capacity.
any.
No, we are not judging your capacity, though it is true that the Indian Prime Minister has said you are in no position to fight a conventional war with India. You can let the military experts debate that.
How can you?
You can let the military experts dictate that.
Judgmental about our capacity.
Well, I mean, you can let the military experts dictate that, Ms. Khan. I don't want to get into that debate.
Economic issues like
And-
India have,
and-
Pakistan have, we have population, other issues. These are internal matters.
Miss-
but
Miss-
it doesn't have to do across the borders.
Miss
We know how to talk.
Miss Khan,
We know how to talk on the borders. We know. I think like there are some issues and there are some forces in India. We don't want that after 2 weeks there would be bilateral diplomat meetings in Pakistan between India and Pakistan, and I think that will hurt. We will hurt in that case if you people.
No,
will
you
not
see
move
that
forward.
what has happened
If you-
today is
we are-
significant,
we are
I think.
shaking hand,
No, what
we
has
are
happened
coming
is very
forward.
significant because I can feel your hurt. I can empathize with your hurt today.
No.
General Qureshi and Sadia Khan. I completely understand that you must be feeling hurt that the Indian Prime Minister has looked you back in the eye and told you the truth. But at the same time, General Qureshi,
If somebody is hurt, no, you are not listening.
No,
to me. You
General-
should
Miss
listen to
Sadia
me.
Khan-
If you are asking question, you should not reply it yourself.
no,
I have
Sadia
said
Khan,
that.
a
We
fact
as
is, I
a
asked you
nation,
that were you not
we
hurt
as a
when
representative
your
of
own
the
president
party,
admitted?
We are not hurt.
No, were you not hurt when your own president
you are
admitted
changing
that you
statements.
support terror groups to achieve foreign policy goals? Were you not hurt when your former ambassador to the
Never,
United
never.
States,
Now
Hussein
you are
Haqqani,
totally
Hussein
diverted.
Haqqani released a book
No.
called Magnificent Delusions, in which he confessed
Listen,
that Pakistan
Arnab,
officially supports
what-
terrorism? You are hurt when Narendra Modi
What
tells you
Nadia-
that.
No.
You are not hurt when your own ambassadors and your own prime ministers say that. Maruf wants to come to the debate. Maruf.
War against terror with the name of Zarb-e-Azab in Pakistan, and right now we are fighting that.
Maruf.
Now, before we get Maruf to comment
Okay,
on
ma'am,
this, I just want to say
General
here,
Sahab,
there's no question of anyone being hurt.
Sir,
it's
I
an
understand.
assessment carried out by the Indian Prime Minister, which is wrong in my opinion, in
Sir.
our opinion. However, that's not the issue.
Okay,
I think
General Sahab.
in Pakistan, the country is convinced that whenever peace has a chance of success, whenever the two countries are about to get together and talk
What
about
peace? What
our
peace, sir?
mutual relationship.
What
The
peace do you?
Indians,
What peace do you
whether the Prime
propose?
Minister or the President.
Sir,
hold
sir,
on.
sir, what peace do
they
you
come
propose?
up with a statement
Sir,
that will prevent
how will it
people moving
prevent-
forward.
how will it prevent-
the two countries?
How will it prevent-
the
General
two
Qureshi.
countries moving forward?
How will
towards
it
the
prevent
peaceful
when somebody
solution
tells you
of
all
when somebody
problems
tells
that
you
we
to
have?
stop proxy
Now,
war,
that's-
you should
that's
come
the
forward and say
perception-
it will help us.
That is the perception
When somebody
that
tells
people
you,
in
General
Pakistan
Qureshi,
have.
General
And now
Qureshi,
each time you talk about Modi and you keep saying that, oh, I can understand you're hurt. Nobody's hurt.
Sir,
We just
it's a-
laugh at the assessment that the Prime Minister of India is carrying out about Pakistan.
Sir,
Qureshi,
sir, you know,
Unfortunate,
I
but we
just,
understand it in
sir,
the environment
Qureshi.
that perhaps you don't want the peace process to move forward.
General Qureshi, I don't understand what you are saying here today because I don't know
can I
why
please
you
come
are
in?
so sensitive today. Today, the Hizbul Mujahideen has claimed responsibility for an attack on a border security force convoy at Pampore in Jammu and Kashmir. What is the Hizbul? It is one paid bunch of mercenary vestiges
not
of the
heard of this.
Pakistani army.
Me too.
Right? In fact, the Hizbul chief himself has admitted that he has a free run in Pakistan. Is it not true that it is allowed to have hundreds of
No.
terror camps on your soil?
No.
What has Modi told
No.
you today? Of course he has.
No.
Yes, sir, he has.
No.
Syed Salahuddin has. What are you saying, sir?
You ask a question and then you answer it yourself.
Sir, Syed
And then
Salahuddin
you
has
insist
confessed
that what you say
Pakistan's
is correct.
involvement.
So it's
General
pointless
Qureshi,
having us
will
on
you
this
come in?
discussion.
1 minute. Maruf
Yes,
wants to
sir.
say
Sure,
something
sir.
here. Maruf.
No, Arnab, let me ask them a few questions and they will be put, they'll find it difficult to answer. General Sahab, let me first put it in context and then ask you a few questions. Firstly, during the Cold War, tension and talks between the West and the Soviet bloc were prevalent, but talks still happened when tensions existed. So do not link talks or do not state that talks can be called off by one statement by the Indian Prime Minister. The Indian Prime Minister is stating a fact.
Very good.
Can you deny that General Zia initiated a policy of bleeding India by 1,000 cuts 10 years before Kargil in 89? Can you deny that Pakistan's army in itself admits that convention? Sir, please hear me out. Pakistan's army itself admits, and I'm not saying so, Hokis Hussain Haqqani says so, Ahmed Rashid says so, Stephen Tankel says so, and most recently Christine Fair in a book, Fighting to the Finish, says so.
Sir, Musharraf says so.
Army
Musharraf says so.
their conventional
Musharraf says so.
lack of
The man
superiority,
himself,
and therefore
General Zia, the
Musharraf
poor
says so.
gentleman,
General
died
Sahab,
in 1988.
Arnab, just let me complete. Just let me complete. General Musharraf even
Sir,
went
your
on
facts are
record
wrong.
to say that I can unleash thousands of Taliban
Oh,
and
yes, he
Lashkar
did.
groups on India at the drop of a hat if I decide to use them as strategic assets. This is on record. Now, what I want to tell you is that what Mr. Modi is alluding to, that the Pakistan army wants to fight a proxy war under the umbrella of a nuclear weapon. Therefore, you think you have the license to get away with everything. What Mr. Modi has
Not at all.
done is very smartly raise the level of calling off your bluff by saying that you cannot get away with it forever. Should you decide to continue with proxy war and kill Indian citizens mercilessly, India has ability to respond, and one of them is known to you, sir, as a military officer, which we call the cold start doctrine, and you don't have a response for that at this point of time. So what I'm trying to say is what Modi has said is stated the facts that we can respond, we will respond, our threshold of patience is now exhausted. So please go back to your drawing board and think up of another strategy to deal with India outside
You're
proxy war.
really
Period.
going to have, I sense our guests in Islamabad today, Pawan Verma, are really going to have to evaluate the manner in which they thought they would get away. Because when a Prime Minister says something as clearly as this, and we know, Pawan Verma, as many disagreements on political fronts may happen with Mr. Modi, but on strategic issues we are together. As a former diplomat, what's your message to our guests in Islamabad?
The point is very clear, it's beyond debate that the Pakistani state or elements in the Pakistani state have followed a policy of terrorist and proxy war against India. There is verifiable evidence, I don't know what we are debating, and it continues. Now what I am mystified about, and I want to say this, I want to ask Maruf also this question. Since this new government came to power, there have been 19 ceasefire violations. The latest one, Arnab, you mentioned, was a rather daring attack in the south of Kashmir on a BSF convoy in which 6 people were injured. On June 13th, our government said that peace on the border is a precondition for normal relations. On June 15th, our Honorable Defence Minister said that ceasefire violations must stop. Obviously, Pakistan is not following this policy in spite of Mr. Nawaz Sharif being present at the oath ceremony and having biryani or dhokla. So that's very clear. My question is that instead of 2 nuclear weapon powers talking about the possibility of conventional warfare, which is rather irresponsible and fairly dangerous, I don't know why we have announced foreign secretary level talks on August 25th and not withdrawn them.
You
And
feel
what
we
are
should?
the talks about? The talks are about talks, not a resumption of the
You feel we
dialogue.
should?
My question is, what is our response? Because Pakistani policy against India is well known even after Mr. Modi has come to power. For all his hard talk during the elections, there have been 19 ceasefire violations. The army is valiantly fighting in the valley. What is our foreign policy and how are we planning to
Arnab,
deal
can I
with
just come in?
Pakistan? There is no point debating the fact that they are backing a proxy war.
Well, it's
or
a message.
terrorist war. That is established.
It's a message. And our
Arnab,
third panelist joining from Karachi, Air
Arnab,
Vice
can I just
Marshal
respond
Abid
to
Rao.
Mr. Verma? Arnab,
Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao, Maruf.
Arnab, can I respond to Mr. Verma quickly?
No, 1 second.
Yes.
Air Vice Marshal
Arnab, can I
Abid Rao,
respond
let's
to
get the
Mr. Verma? Just the
Pakistani
point is,
panelists,
sir,
then I'll come back to you, Maruf. I will. But Air Vice
he's
Marshal
asked me
Abid
a
Rao,
question.
here is the Prime Minister.
I just
No,
want
at
to
this
give a
stage
quick
of the debate. Maruf, 1 second.
You are going to, Arnab, you are going to get nowhere. You are going to get nowhere talking to the civilian establishment in Pakistan. Nawaz Sharif is not entirely in control. Unless you get the army on board, you're going to be
Sadia Khan.
talking to the wall and whistling in the dark. Because unless the army in Pakistan is a signatory to any arrangement, it doesn't stand.
Your response would have been to ask, why have these talks which you have announced? They have been suspended from September 2013 because of ceasefire violations. You come with a great deal of hard talk. You know Pakistan's policy. You've seen the violations happening almost every week. And still you have announced Foreign Office talks at the Foreign Secretary level.
Abid Rao.
What is
Abid
the
Rao.
purpose being served?
Yes.
Abid Rao, you realize, I don't know if I have the line with our Islamabad guests, they're either distracted or they're deciding and talking among themselves on how they need to respond to the fairly straight points put on the debate today by General Bakshi, Pawan Verma and Maruf Raza. Maybe they will have to find some counter strategy on the debate. It appears to me at this stage that General Qureshi and Sadia Khan of the PMLN are trying to think of their next response. We're going to get their satellite link back. Now, Abid Rao, Air Marshal Abid Rao, I know you may be hurt as well at
Yes.
what Narendra Modi has said. But what he has basically said.
I am amazed at your analysis. In fact, all of you.
What is-
You
Sir.
suppose a lot of, I will say, not so correct, not so accurate assumptions about Pakistan,
Tell
and
me
then
one.
start debating that.
Tell me
I
one.
mean, what is new in Mr. Modi's statement? Pakistan cannot fight a conventional war. This I knew in 1965. You were bigger in number, 71, than even in Kargil. But what result? The two armed forces of these countries cannot crush each other to a defeat which is meaningful.
Sir,
This should be very clear.
Sir,
Pakistan is a weaker state. It is not a weak state. You
Sir,
can try that.
sir,
We
it
got
is-
deployed
sir,
for 9 or 10 months in 2002. Why did India dare not attack Pakistan? It was because the
Vice
Pakistan
Marshal
also
Rao-
has some weapons in the card, and conventional weapons alone do
Air
not
Marshal
matter.
Rao-
We were deployed fully in 99. Please listen to me.
Air Marshal Rao,
you see,
listen to
you
me.
have to talk little mature and not, show me the numbers of aircraft your Air Force has, number of tanks my country has. That they don't matter. It is Pakistan is a country that India cannot take lightly. These such statements. I mean, I'm surprised at your comments that we are scared, we are hurt, we are this. No, any prime minister who would visit his troops on
Marshal
the
Rao-
forward areas will talk like that.
Air Marshal
Our
Rao-
prime minister would have done the same.
Air Marshal Rao,
Yes.
Hear me now. You said today that what is new in what Modi has said. I'm surprised that a person of your experience is not able to see what is new in what Modi has said. Or that General Qureshi can't see. I mean, I'm sure both of you see, but you choose to blindfold yourself, gentlemen. And maybe the reason you choose to blindfold yourself is because you don't want to remind yourself as former military personnel that every time you've dared to fight a war against India, you have been humiliated. So Modi is right when he says you've lost the strength to fight a war with India, but I don't want to get into that. The more
Things have-
important point, allow me to
Things
complete.
have changed
Allow me to
since,
complete. Allow me to
1998.
complete, sir. Allow
Now
me to
those
complete.
situations
Sir,
will not repeat.
Sir, 20
yes,
seconds I'll
1965
explain
was
to
a stalemate.
you. Sir, 20 seconds
Both
and I'll
armies
explain to you.
failed. We couldn't get Kashmir,
Sir,
you
20
couldn't
seconds.
capture Lahore.
Sir, 20,
So,
sir, 20 seconds. 20 seconds, I'll explain to you what is important in what happened today. We in India are seeing what Modi has said. What Modi has said, yes, General Bakshi, I'll let you. What Modi has basically said is, I'm not going to do a Manmohan Singh. I'm not going to have chicken biryani with the Pakistani Prime Minister if the Hizbul Mujahideen and the Lashkar-e-Toiba carry out terror attacks in India.
But he is
He
not
has-
precisely that.
1 second.
No.
1 minute. So he's drawn that link. He has drawn a direct link between Pakistan's inability to fight a direct war and its pushing a proxy war through terrorism. That's a clear and apparent link, General Bakshi. Why are the generals and the air marshals and the politicians from Islamabad not being able to see through that tonight?
You know, Arnab, may I state in all humility to my military friends from Pakistan, I'm sorry, you've gone a little awry in your analysis. You said that the India-Pakistan equation is one of stasis
Yeah.
and a pure balance.
Yeah.
May I remind you that a decisive conflict in the current context is characterized by a march on an enemy capital and by large-scale surrender of forces. The capture of an enemy capital, 1971. If you
Yeah.
don't think that war was decisive, I'm sorry. Then you are not being objective. You are not being objective. I would request that we as military professionals be quite fairly objective in our analysis. The fact is, we were able to decisively inflict a defeat on your country when we got our act together and we made up our mind that we had just about enough. I think it would not be wise for Pakistan, given the situation that it is in, to push India again to the wall like you had pushed us in 1971. The consequences, I'm sorry to state, will be entirely adverse for the state of Pakistan.
And-
it is about time that your nuclear bluff
I must come
has
in
to
here
be
for a minute.
called.
And for a country,
It has to be
No, no,
called.
for
Don't push people
No, no,
into
and-
calling your nuclear bluff.
no, and for a country, forget
have
the
hidden
nuclear bluff.
behind it for far too long.
I appeal to the better sense of General Qureshi and Sadia Khan. After all, sir, your country today is in the company of sub-Saharan African countries like Angola and Kenya in terms of human development. Right? You are virtually bankrupt.
now you're so transparent.
Sir,
we
you're-
see through every statement that you
Wait,
make.
point out
and
one
it makes
factual
me laugh,
inaccuracy.
frankly.
Point out
It
one
makes me
factual
laugh.
inaccuracy.
I'm really amazed at
Point
your,
out one
just
factual
tell me,
inaccuracy,
just
sir.
tell me, General Bakshi has just admitted all the connivance and the clever tricks that the Indian government and the Indians have been playing on Pakistan. While he mentioned East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, and he talked about defeating Pakistani forces there, he's also admitted the connivance and the clever tricks. Now, you didn't call that terrorism at that time, but the cunning way in which people from the eastern wing of Pakistan were taken on by the
Sir, come to the end conclusion.
Indian intelligence and no.
Sir, come
you
to
must
the end
listen to
conclusion.
this.
You know the
see,
consequences.
You talk about
What is
Kargil.
being said tonight.
You talk about things
Yeah.
where you think that you have an advantage, and here you admit that you are the ones who planned to dismember Pakistan.
Sir, I'm
If
very
this
surprised.
is the
I think Maroof
of the
can.
Indians.
Sir,
If
Maroof
this
can.
is the attitude
Sir,
of General Bakshi
Sir, Maroof-
in his
General
great
Qureshi.
assessment and
General
knowledge
Qureshi,
of military
please,
history,
for God's sake.
if this is how
Rashid
he can
Qureshi.
excuse India
Rashid
from
Qureshi, I remember-
ever having
To India.
any
Your
issue
army
with
raped a
Pakistan,
million women
there is
there.
no doubt.
For God's
there
sake,
is no doubt
the whole
left
world
in
was
the
witness
people
to
of
the
Pakistan
genocide that you
the
did.
cunning
Please read
and
the
clever tricks
Hamadur
of India
Rahman
were
Committee
meant to
report.
dismember Pakistan
He is a
then,
Pakistani
and you
Chief
continue
Justice.
to do it now.
For God's sake,
Whether it is
read
Modi
the Hamadur
or anyone
Rahman
else,
Committee report.
whether it's a
I
talk
beseech
show
you as a
by
professional.
you, well briefed by the Indian RAW, your intelligence agency, talking about 19 ceasefire violations. There have been 37 Indian ceasefire violations. Why don't you talk about them? There have been killing by the Indians of Pakistani soldiers. Now, our intelligence,
Sir,
we don't go
sir,
to
you have no
the
facts to
ISI
back
get a
what you're
briefing,
saying.
But
you have,
but if we
sir,
had,
you have no,
we would
sir,
have
you
known
have no,
exactly what
sir,
you've been
you have
doing.
no facts. You have no facts to back what you're
General
saying.
Qureshi, isn't that an old story? Every time your army initiates these ceasefire violations and you conveniently put the blame on us,
in
you
fact,
conveniently put the blame on us. I have served long enough on the borders, on the line of control, so have you.
one
I
second.
can name to you the units which have misbehaved constantly, which have not listened to their own superiors. Your army is now involved in the operations in FATA. We were cognizant of that fact. And that is why we have been holding our hands, because we thought that we should give you a chance to finish the problems that you have created for yourself and your region. But then there are elements in your army which want to
General
initiate a
Bakshi,
conflict
it's
here.
India who has created these
They want to
problems for
initiate a
Pakistan.
conflict. They are not
Indians
in
have
tune with
6
whatever your
consulates
Prime Minister is
on the
saying.
Afghan-Pakistan border. Are they to
Arnab,
send
Arnab,
your
let me come.
people inside Pakistan or people that you have
General
bought,
Qureshi.
Sir,
and that you
General Qureshi,
train,
your
and
facts
that
are
you
complete.
finance? So
Sir,
what are you talking about? You
Sir,
are talking
General
about
Qureshi,
Pakistan
Maruf,
army
1 minute.
Arnab, General
One
Qureshi's
minute.
facts are completely misplaced.
Just a minute, I want
Arnab,
What?
General-
So don't
General
General
Qureshi.
Qureshi.
General
I
Qureshi.
will bring out facts
General Qureshi,
that will
you-
embarrass you.
General
For which
Qureshi.
you will have no
Maruf,
answer.
before you come in, I
Are
want to
you
say
at the
something to
brother-
General
General
Bakshi has
Qureshi.
served
No,
with
1
the
second.
line of
Before you come
control,
in, Maruf,
so
I
have
want to say
I.
something to
So
General
you
Qureshi.
can't call
General
him an
Qureshi, I want to
expert
say
because
something
he
to you.
served from the Indian side.
General Qureshi.
And not call me an expert because I have served on the Pakistani
General Qureshi,
side.
I want to say
It's
something to you, sir.
unfortunate. It is
I want to make a
unfortunate.
point to you, General
Maruf,
Qureshi.
hold
General
on.
Qureshi, I want to make a point to you.
Arnab,
Sir, Miss
you
General Qureshi, I
have
know my
nothing
name.
more
Can I
to
make a
say
point to you?
Except what you briefed
Sir,
by your intelligence
Sir,
agency,
General Qureshi.
which I'm afraid
General
is
Qureshi.
slightly overstepping.
Sir, General Qureshi, I want to ask you just one question.
Ask me
Which
10.
Pakistani do I believe? Do I believe your then Foreign Secretary Shamshad Ahmad, who said
Stop
we reject
shouting and ask me
allegations?
the
Sir, you
question.
don't even want to let me speak now because you know I will reveal your entire inaccuracy
No,
of your
no.
argument if you let me do. So you let me.
No, okay.
So the point here is
Yeah.
on which Pakistani do I believe? Do I believe Shamshad Ahmad, who says there were this whole idea of intrusions by Pakistani soldiers is wrong? Or do I believe the man under whom you served, General Parvez Musharraf, who admitted the role of the Pakistani
What?
troops? Who
Hold
do
on.
I believe, sir?
Hold on. What
Who
did
do I
Shamshad
believe,
say?
sir? And the context
I
is
don't
this.
know what statement you're talking about.
You don't know what statement you're talking about? It is the statement of Parvez
You are
Musharraf,
talking about.
where he said very clearly that we got involved and we and the Mujahideen were there together vis-a-vis the Indian troops.
Hey, hold on.
Hey, what do you mean, hold on,
Don't
sir?
misinterpret what
There
he
is
said.
no misinterpretation,
if he said
sir.
we got involved, yes.
Yes.
Once
Yes, you
India
got-
started bombing
Yes.
our position,
I
we got
see.
involved.
I see.
We had to retaliate.
I see. So tell me, who are those people?
Oh, great.
Who are those
Now you
people
see.
whose
Thank
name
God
is...
you've understood.
Sir, since you are now beginning to reveal yourself and we gave you hard evidence of the involvement of the Pakistani infantry, we gave you bodies of your soldiers from the
Where were
Patalik
you-
sector,
where
we
were
gave you
you
their
when
arms.
the Indian army was
We
invading
gave
East
you their
Pakistan?
documents.
Where were you, Arnab?
Sir,
Why don't you talk about that? What General Bakshi has just admitted in
Sir,
front
we-
of the
we-
whole
I am
people that
talking
must
about-
be listening to this talk.
Sir,
who you tell me
Sir,
who
it is
invaded
a-
East Pakistan?
Sir, it
Did
is a-
India?
Sir,
Did
it is
India
a-
invade East Pakistan or not?
Sir, it is a well-known... It is a
Did
well-known...
you-
Sir, 1971 is
Did
a
you-
well-known fact. It might rankle
Arnab,
you, but
can I-
I'm talking
Did
about...
you-
I'm talking about
Why aren't
Kargil,
you
which reveals...
answering?
You see,
You only
Modi's-
want to ask
Sir, you-
questions
Mr.
where India, you think, has an advantage.
Sir, there is
it's
no
wrong.
advantage. I thought
what you're saying is incorrect.
Maruf Raza...
India
will you give me
invaded
1
East
minute, sir?
Pakistan
Please, sir, you-
after a complete.
Sir, what-
There's no. It's pointless listening to
General
you
Qureshi.
because you do not admit
General
the truth.
Qureshi.
General Qureshi, you're
General
you're
Qureshi.
on a serious point right now. You have
General
the
Qureshi.
Indian
Will
Prime
you please
Minister.
let me speak
You
also
have the,
for 1
sir,
minute?
allow me, sir.
General Qureshi.
You have the Indian Prime Minister who
No,
looks
General
at you in
Qureshi,
the
we
eye
will
and who
not let you
says
speak.
that you cannot
General
carry
Qureshi,
out a
you have
proxy
spoken
war
today
anymore
more
because
than
of your
anybody
abject
else.
inability to carry out a conventional war. He's linked the two. He will take you on now
The
word
Indian
for word and
Prime
you better be
Minister
prepared
is
for it.
incorrect in his
Whether it's
assessment
incorrect or not,
and
it's a fact
in-
thrown at you.
In what he said.
Maruf wants to
Unfortunate.
respond as well. Maruf.
But if this is the level
General
of
Qureshi,
understanding of
General
the
Qureshi,
Indian
let
Prime
me
Minister,
put it in perspective.
I am
General Saab,
quite
General Saab.
sorry for India.
I think we're just losing the line there with Maruf.
You keep talking about
He's back.
General Saab, you keep talking about the Indian invasion in Bangladesh, but you are not willing to accept the genocide that you carried out. Go to Dhaka Club, go up the steps of the
No
club.
genocide.
There are photographs displayed
No,
of all the genocide that
no.
your
By the
honorable
way,
men
by the
had
way,
conducted in
by the way,
Bangladesh. We intervened
Why-
in
why
Bangladesh
didn't India
in humanitarian
look at the genocide
assistance
in
to the
Gujarat
people of Bangladesh.
against people,
Unfortunately, sir,
innocent
hear me
people
out.
travelling back to
Hear me
Pakistan and they
out.
burned that
Unfortunately, this
And
was not
hundreds of
argued
people
as
were burned
such
there.
because
You
there was.
refused to
Sir,
close your
hear me
eyes
out.
there.
This was not argued as such because there was no precedence. There was no precedence of arguing of humanitarian intervention by military force we liberated Bangladesh, we exited out, we are a status quo respecting country. The second thing about Afghanistan, let me tell you something. Hear me out, sir. Hear me out, General and Air Marshal, hear me out. In Afghanistan, you talk about the Taliban, that it is our creation. General Musharraf himself admitted to me in an interview for this channel to say he was part of the force that created the Taliban. You created them as assets to dominate Afghanistan as a strategic hinterland. And then the Taliban is now a nuisance that you have to deploy 5 divisions to fight. You talk, General Qureshi, hear me out. And if you are talking of our involvement, you are talking of General Saab, give me the courtesy of listening to me. You are just rambling on, but you're not wanting to talk facts. Let me tell you, in Balochistan, you have taken their gas away. You have brought Punjabi labor into Gwadar. You are killing Baluchis. And Hamid Mir says that you get him shot at. You don't want the press to report about your excesses in Balochistan. And it's a figment of imagination that India has created the Baluch problem.
On the other
Where
side
was
tonight,
India since independence?
On the other side tonight,
Who killed Nawab Bukti? Musharraf shot down Bukti.
I'll take a break at this stage. And as our viewers can see, one second, as our viewers can see, Maruf.
Look into the mirror.
Just
1 second.
1 minute to speak, please. Just 1 minute.
You guys are getting a taste of your own medicine.
Arnab,
You have
can you hear
created
me?
terrorism. You are battling them.
Yeah.
And now you cry to the world that
Can
you're
I say
victims of
something
terror.
before the
You're
break
victims
because
of
I have to
self-created
leave?
terror.
Okay, Pawan Verma wants to say something before the break, and I am going to go to him, but just 1 minute before that. At this
Adam,
stage of
can
the
I get
debate,
1 minute,
joining the
please?
debate tonight, 1 second, let me just introduce Mr. Parthasarathy, former High Commissioner to Pakistan, who's joining the debate tonight. What are we debating, ladies and gentlemen? Narendra Modi basically says, stop your proxy war. And I'd like to ask the Pakistanis when we come out of the other side of the break, who admitted the proxy war? Do they know the name of Gohar Ayub Khan, or will they say he's also not a Pakistani? Do they know the name of General Akbar Khan, or will they say he's also not a Pakistani? Because these two gentlemen revealed the role of the Pakistanis in trying to use so-called jihadis in 65 and 1947. General Qureshi looks puzzled. General Qureshi, just do a search of your own history, and you'll see the people who exposed themselves the most were the Pakistanis themselves. Pawan Verma, before I hit the break, wants to rebut. Air Marshal Abid Rao on the other side of the break.
Very quickly before the break, because I have to leave. Pakistan has followed a policy of tactical appeasement and explosive and proxy aggression against India as part of an institutional policy. There is enough evidence, it need not be debated. We see the evidence every day. I believe we need to calibrate our response to that much more carefully than we've done in the last 2 months. My criticism against the previous government was that they were soft. I must say that this government also needs to review strategy in the face of 19 ceasefire violations and the last attack on our BSF convoy. I think we should review our decision to have foreign secretary level talk, because we said we will not talk unless there is peace on the border.
Well, Pawan Verma makes that point again.
War right now.
Pawan Verma makes that point again.
I don't believe that is what the Prime Minister said.
Pawan Verma makes that point again.
Two neighbors should talk like that.
Pawan Verma makes that point again. I'll get Mr. Parthasarathy's views on the other side. General Jaswal, who commanded the Northern Corps, calls in and says, I want to say something to our Air Marshal and to the General in Islamabad and Karachi. We'll connect him as well. I'm back on this debate in a few minutes.
आज युद्ध सीमा पर होते करीब बंद। हमारा दुर्भाग्य है कि हमारे पड़ोसियों की मानसिकता ने युद्ध करने की तो ताकत खो दी है, लेकिन प्रॉक्सी वॉर के माध्यम से निर्दोष नागरिकों को मारने का सिलसिला चला रहा है। कितने निर्दोष लोगों को मार दिया जा रहा है। युद्ध में जितने जवान शहीद हुए, उससे ज्यादा जवान इन बुज़दिलों की गोलियों से मरने के लिए मजबूर हो गए। ये प्रॉक्सी वॉर, ये संकट सिर्फ भारत का नहीं, पूरे विश्व का हो गया है। और इसलिए विश्व में जितना सैन्य शक्ति की ताकत की जरूरत खड़ी हुई है, उतनी ही मानवतावादी ताकतों का इकट्ठा आना आवश्यक हो गया है.
It's pretty straightforward. Narendra Modi says these people who are pushing the proxy war are cowards. That's straightforward talk. Now, Mr. Parthasarathy, our Pakistani interlocutors on the discussion tonight say that it is not right timing, it will affect the talks. I want your response to that. They put up this carrot of talks and they say this is not good. Talks will be affected if Modi talks like this.
Arnab, if you'll permit me, I think the Air Marshal has been waiting a long time. Let him have a say and then I'll join you in. Please.
You're being very gracious. Yes, Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao, you wanted to come in. And General Jaswal joining the debate as well, but after Air Vice Marshal. Go ahead.
I think, Arnab, we have taken the debate away to historical disputes, which is of no benefit to any side. I mean, we can continue going back to 1527 when Babur attacked India. Who was at fault? Who was the winner? Who benefited out of that? It's no point. The fact is that after 98, the power balance has tilted kind of in a parity with both sides. The loss of war on either side is not affordable either by India or Pakistan, because we've said many times that we may be a weaker force, but we are not a weak force. We can cause that kind of damage to India even in conventional war if ever the time comes. So let's keep that out. What your Prime Minister has said, I think, is absolutely normal when a Prime Minister visits the forward deployed troops.
So why don't you welcome it?
Let's not talk of that.
So why don't you welcome it then?
Give the people of India and Pakistan another emotional issue to hype again, talk about war or talk about, threatening languages.
Sir,
I think war is ruled out.
Air Vice Marshal.
You don't talk about Kashmir, the basic issue.
Air Vice Marshal, I'll ask you
to be settled in whatever way
Air Vice Marshal,
by both or three parties, which is the root cause of this. I come back to that because what stops the next Kargil? What stops the next 65 war? What stops the next engagement by the two countries? We are both nuclear. We both prevent attack on that kind of scale. So if we both engage in that kind of silly act, it is mutually assured destruction at which once Soviet Union and America stood. So let's not talk of that. Let's help the both governments to come together.
When I bring the discussion to the moot point,
Mr. Modi has said what he had to say. Mr. Nawaz Sharif has talked of peace. Mr. Pervez Musharraf talked of peace. No matter who is the leader in Pakistan has talked of peace with India. So let's talk about that rather than, using this with selected incidents of past.
I don't know what past you're talking about. I'm talking about yesterday. Air Marshal. And I think Mr. Parthasarathy was gracious enough to let you come in, but I am surprised you completely dodged the issue. Don't you know what's going on in India? The Hizbul, yes, I'll give you the facts, sir. If I give you the facts, no, one second. What does Rashid Qureshi say?
There are a lot of these untold stories which can be compared. This is not a debating house for that.
Sir, what does Rashid Qureshi say? Rashid Qureshi says there is no proof. Right? That's what he says.
No. Hold on.
And then he says,
I asked you a question.
Yes, what's your question?
I asked you a question.
What's your question?
What happened yesterday? We don't even know about it.
Okay, let me tell you. The Hizbul Mujahideen has claimed responsibility for an attack on a BSF convoy in Jammu and Kashmir. The Hizbul Mujahideen operational commander.
Where?
Well, if I tell you, then you'll know where. The next question will be, we don't believe you. He has confirmed, he has called up a local news agency in Srinagar. My question to you is,
where was this ambush carried out?
Sir, exactly, when you don't know, then don't take a position on it. In Pampore in Jammu and Kashmir, where did these Hizbul terrorists come from?
Why are you asking us to debate it?
So one second, where did the Hizbul...
Why are you asking us to debate it?
Because...
When we don't even know where it was carried out.
Because what you do know is that the Hizbul Mujahideen chief himself has said that he has a free run in Pakistan and that he runs hundreds of terror camps from your soil. Will you deny that as well?
I've never heard of this.
You may.
No, hold on.
Sir, you can't get away by saying I've never heard of it, because Sayyid Salahuddin has admitted, and I can quote him. He says, our Mujahideen can come and go at their own will. Pakistani military permits our fighters to move freely and run training camps in the region.
No.
It has been quoted. He's also gone on to say, and let me complete. He also has gone on to say, General Qureshi, he has gone on to say there is no question.
When?
Sir, he has said this on May 27, 2011. You want me to give you the time?
Now, okay, hold on here. Now, you are talking about an ambush carried out inside.
Sir, I am talking about your country's military's historical links with the Hizbut
Why don't
Mujahideen?
you, for a pause, for a short while, stop and think that these are the people of Kashmir who are fighting against Indian occupation? Why do you blame Pakistan for it? Are you trying to tell the world that there is no issue in Kashmir?
Sir, I think you are in
occupied Kashmir. There is no resistance.
Sir, is Salahuddin lying? Maybe Mr. Parsati or Maruf can respond to you. Is Syed Salahuddin lying?
Carried out today,
Maruf wants to come in at this time. You know, General Qureshi, you don't believe Salahuddin. One second, Maruf. You don't believe Salahuddin. You don't believe Musharraf. You don't believe Gohar Ayub Khan. You don't believe General Akbar Khan. Who do you believe?
Even arguing this.
Who do you believe, sir? I have only quoted Pakistanis to you.
Maruf, when there is an attack in Kashmir, General Qureshi says Kashmiris have done it. When there is an attack in Baluchistan, General Qureshi says Indians have done it. General Sahab, I am ashamed to say that you are not applying simple military logic, which in military parlance is called CMK.
Are you?
Please understand that no insurgency can survive without external assistance. And it's all recorded, it's documented, and today Pakistan is now battling the same demons
which you yourself
that it
have
has
just
harbored.
admitted.
So for heaven's sake, don't be ranting on about the Kashmir dimension that it's an internal problem. It is a problem created by you.
India is involved in Balochistan and the Fatah.
Okay.
And because they cannot survive without external assistance, according to you.
Who has admitted?
So, thank you very much for admitting this.
No, external assistance in the case of Fatah and Baluchistan cannot come from us because we have no military forces in Afghanistan. It is a figment of your imagination. Why don't you for a moment understand that there can be sympathizers from across your porous Durand line? Your sympathizers from across the porous Durand line who are exasperated with the games you play in Afghanistan are giving you back the taste of your same medicine.
In July 2009, one second, gentlemen, I now want to go back to Mr. Parsati. 1 second, 7 minutes on the debate. General Jaswal on the phone line, and Mr. Parsati must come in. Mr. Parsati, in July 2009, the then President Zardari said, we create and nurture terrorist groups as a policy to achieve some tactical objectives the Pakistanis did not know where to hide. Today Modi says that these cowards carry out a proxy war because they can't fight a conventional war. I just want you to put into context, Mr. Parsati, the significance of Modi's fairly straightforward remarks, which I played out before I came into part 2 of the debate. Mr. Parsati.
I would only request the Air Marshal, to whom I showed due courtesy, and Rashid knows me since Kargil days, not to interrupt me. I'll just have a few things to say. On the significance of the Prime Minister, I am not addressing our Pakistani friends, I am addressing an Indian audience. First and foremost, you must understand the internal situation.
You can't hear him.
There are serious differences between the two Sharifs, between Nawaz Sharif on the one hand and his army chief Rahil Sharif. This is over several issues, including the trial of General Musharraf and the operations which the military is carrying out, which has led to around 1 million Pashtun tribals fleeing their homes. That is the objective situation within Pakistan. I believe that Nawaz, given his domestic predicaments, would like to keep the Indian border quiet and move with cooperation with India. I do not believe that is the case with the military. their differences are very, very deep. Going back to the earlier times on where we are headed. Now, General Qureshi would recall that his boss, General Musharraf, gave us a categorical assurance to Mr. Vajpayee that territory under Pakistan's control would not be used for terrorism against India. That has been violated not only in India, and let us remember that these things are taking place at an important point in time. The consulate in Herat was attacked by the Lashkar-e-Taiba, which the Americans have confirmed, on the day that Nawaz Sharif was prior to his arriving in India. Second, this is occurring at a time when our Prime Minister is visiting Jammu and Kashmir. So there is a very clearly and a concentrated move to step up the heat across the line of control. The question is, how do we respond? My answer is quite simple. No comprehensive dialogue with Pakistan till such time as they reiterate and abide by the assurance which President Musharraf gave us on the 4th of January 2004. Terrorism and dialogue cannot go hand in hand.
Well,
General Musharraf stuck by his word till 2007.
He gave that assurance.
No, I'm not. Look, I didn't interrupt you. Please don't interrupt me. Let's have a courtesy, some courtesy and a civilized dialogue, General Qureshi. Now, I'm not finding fault with anyone. I am just laying out the realities. I have my doubts whether the composite dialogue will resume, even when if the Foreign Secretary goes on the 25th. What I find particularly sad is this came at a time when not only the Foreign Secretary was scheduled to go there, but also Sushma Swaraj had indicated that either the Prime Minister or she would visit every South Asian country. So I see Pakistan now as a rivalry between the military and the civil establishment. The civil establishment, I take their word that they want to move ahead. I do not trust General Rahil Sharif. Some of the statements he made goes back to a very old period. Certainly not language Musharraf used in the second part of his tenure or Kayani ever used. Now, therefore, in these circumstances, the reality is nothing's going to move forward. The Foreign Secretary may go. It will be a dialogue which is restricted, conformed to what exists. The comprehensive dialogue or the composite dialogue will resume only when Pakistan reiterates and abides by the assurance that President Musharraf gave us on the 4th of January 2004 and to his credit kept till 2007.
I will give one opportunity to Sadia Khan to respond to that, but before that, General Jaswal called in on the phone line because I think he has a score to settle there with Air Marshal Abid Rao and General Qureshi. Yes, General Jaswal, are you there?
Very much.
He was watching the Newsar and he said, I want to say something to them. Go ahead, General Jaswal. From Karachi and Islamabad, both are listening to you.
You see, what has happened is that they're mentioning about the 71 war. Now, how did it take place? As a prelude to that, if you recall, in 71 in March, there was an intrusion. The tanks came into Kutch. That was an act of war. Yet we did not. But there was a humanitarian call from Bangladesh because there was genocide over there. We consolidated our comprehensive national power and all elements are put into place. And thereafter we went to war. Now war was a response because 3rd December, they first attacked for whatever reason. Preemption was their basic strategy. So they went in that time. We responded. The results, what was being debated earlier, that, well, you all can take us on, we cannot take you on. Let's not. Let the facts speak. I don't want to dilate much about it, right? Whatever happened, but we have to go beyond that. We have to be more incisive as to what the Prime Minister said. Humanitarian forces. Humanitarian forces.
I take your point.
What is happening in Kashmir, what is happening in the whole of our country, innocent people are being killed. It's, I won't say a warning, an absolute blatant warning. It's a caution. Please, for heaven's sake, I totally agree with both of you, the Air Marshal and the General, that yes, both sides, we want peace. Let's take a step forward. let's not be on a denial mode. Let's actually harp on the facts which are there. And when you say that the Nawaz Saab came in over here, I'm sorry to say, whereas I totally appreciate individually his gesture, but he had no other option.
Sadia
Despite the
Khan,
pressure at home, he had to come.
absolutely.
Because that was the demand
Absolutely.
of the hour.
He had
Let's
to
not
come.
talk.
He had to come.
Thank you.
He had to
Thank
go.
you so much. Thank you so much for giving me time finally.
No, go
I
ahead.
would like to comment and proceed my words which I mentioned in start of this program that Mia Nawaz Sharif came to India. He came with welcoming attitude to newly elected Prime Minister of India, Mr. Modi. But his statement today is very unfortunate because he must know he is a Prime Minister of India now. He must know getting
Ms.
votes on
Khan-
the basis of genocide in Gujarat is totally different as compared to dealing a foreign
Ms.
policy
Ms.
with
Khan,
neighboring countries and with
Ms.
neighboring
Khan,
country.
Ms. Khan,
He
my
should-
question to you is...
Let her speak.
No, I let her speak. I just want to counter. My counter is to her only. Can Sadia Khan of the PMLN please tell our viewers who are watching all over India that why was Nawaz Sharif so frustrated with General Rahil Sharif 2 days back? Why was Nawaz Sharif so frustrated with the ISI Chief General Zahirul Islam 2 days back? Why was he so dissatisfied?
That's totally
Why
wrong.
did he say that? Why did he say that it is unfortunate?
I'm listening it from you.
Why did-
Because it was not. I think it's not part of your program.
So-
You are just blaming over certain.
No, why
things
was
which doesn't exist.
Nawaz Sharif,
These
Sadia
things,
Khan?
There's nothing like this.
Ms. Khan-
Pakistan Army and elected government
No,
of
Ms.
Mia
Khan,
Nawaz
why
Sharif,
did
they are
Nawaz
on
Sharif?
same page.
Why does Nawaz Sharif
They are on
show?
same page.
Why did
Pakistan Army
Why did
and
Nawaz
elected government
Sharif?
of Pakistan, they are on same page.
Why did Nawaz Sharif
They
tell?
are in collaboration with
Why
each
did
other.
Nawaz Sharif tell Rahil Sharif
Arnab-
I'm sorry
and
to
General
bring
Zahirul
up this
Islam that we
analysis
cannot
by
have
you of
bad
this
relations with
statement?
India? Why did he say that?
It's
No. This is the very wrong analysis by Indian media. I'm sorry to say because I'm listening it from your side. There's nothing like this in my country. We are on same page.
Well, maybe-
we are heading towards a better Pakistan, peaceful country, and we are expecting the same thing from other side.
Well, I
that
think-
you people will respect our borders.
I'm sure.
If I may add just Arnab, just 2 lines. I won't take much of your time. It's very clear what the purpose of this discussion seems to be from your end. One, try to create differences between the Pakistan Army and the Pakistan government. It's not going to happen. One. Secondly, rile up the atmosphere to a stage where talks that are scheduled to take place in a couple of weeks get sabotaged. It's unfortunate. I don't like it. I think we should move towards what General Jaspal said, that we should be moving towards peace, towards accommodation for each other's points of view, and also understand that it's not in Pakistan's interest. It is not in India's interest.
Well,
create
I'll give the
tensions
last
between our two
last word to
countries.
Mr.
Our
Parthasarathi.
people-
Sir, it
our
is clear to
people-
me.
our
It is
people,
clear to me
the
that there are
Indian
3 intentions
and
which you have,
Pakistani
General
people
Qureshi.
want
Sir, it
peace
is clear to me that you have 3
and want to
intentions.
Get on.
Sir, it is clear to me you have 3 intentions. One is to keep a divide between the Pakistan army and the government so that the army can continue to do what it does. That's not going to happen. Second is to try and ensure that talks are not linked with terror after Modi's comment. That's not going to happen. And third is you still want to shoot off the shoulders of Syed Salahuddin and Hafiz Saeed. And when I ask you questions about it, you're going to turn around and say, who is Syed Salahuddin? Next time you'll tell me I never heard of him. Last word goes to Mr. Parthasarathi. You've spoken only once so far. Mr. Parthasarathi.
I
Mr.
think
Parthasarathi has the last word.
with due deference to the lady, your own writers ranging from Najam Sethi to Imtiaz Gul point out the serious differences which exist between the 2 Sharifs, Nawaz and Rahil. And everybody knows it. It's all over the American press. It's all over the world. So for God's sake, don't give us this. We aren't buying. There are serious differences. I give credit to Nawaz Sharif that he wanted to give it a try. But before he came, his brother had literally to go and plead in Lahore with General Rahil Sharif to let the visit go ahead. There were 2-hour meeting between Shehbaz Sharif and General Rahil Sharif in Lahore before
yes, absolutely.
Nawaz came here. So the differences are very well known. And for your information to the lady, I've known Mr. Nawaz Sharif since 1982, before you joined the PML. Now, the fact of the matter is, I'm willing to give him the credit. I don't think the army is going to give him space. And India ultimately is not going to go by what are your internal differences. We are going to go by the situation on the ground. We will calibrate our dialogue and all other actions accordingly.
Well, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, to our guests in Delhi, Karachi, Islamabad, thank you for joining me on debate number 2 on the News Hour tonight.